What's up? Good morning, fam. It's NFT Culture. You got Rob and you got Malachi, and we have the team from the meeting place. Christian, Benny, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for taking the time to talk to us today at this incredible, amazing project that you guys have. I know when you guys sent me the initial email and me just looking over the webpage and getting an idea, amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, it took 3 months to put together, and a lot of it was storytelling. You kind of have to like put it together, make the art, and then you have to communicate the art. And I think in the last week, just from like people's responses, it's been really encouraging because I think people get it. At first I'm like, I think that's what every artist struggles with, right? Are people going to get my art? And hopefully we did our job and we're communicating it properly, and it seems like we got it at least.
I think that the design and the art behind it is beautiful and easily digestible, and the idea behind it is that much amazing as well. Very easily understood. Both
Thank
pieces.
you. Yes, let's do it.
Well, our audience likes to maybe know a little bit about each of you guys. I know we have the producer and one of the creators of the meeting place. If you guys just tell us a little bit about yourselves, maybe where you guys came from in the art world or engineering world, and then how you got into NFTs.
Absolutely. So I'm Benny Orr, co-creator on the meeting place. My background actually is in entertainment, creative direction. And how this all actually started was Spatial reached out to me because I have a profile on Instagram. My handle is just Benny Orr, my name. But I on that platform, I talk about contemporary art. I find ways to make art accessible by presenting art in a personal way. Because for me, it was always like, how can I get people out of their living rooms to go and experience art in galleries, right? And so, Spatial reached out and was like, oh, we'd love for you to curate an NFT show in our virtual gallery in VR. And I was like, I'm interested in working with you, but I want to do something else. And so I turned this sort of like curation kind of project into a flagship project for the platform in 3 months. And I found this incredible artist, Cyril. He lives and works out of Lyon, France. And he's also been kind of like working on these ideas of what metaverse architecture can be. He's making these sort of surreal renderings of architecture. And so I was like, let's figure out something together. We got on a call, and kind of the rest is history. We challenged ourselves to create a space in the metaverse that you can experience in full VR that was meaningful. We were like, what is beautiful in the metaverse, right? How do you make a beautiful space? How do you create a space that people actually want to be inside of? And those are all the kind of questions that we asked. But in terms of who I am, I'm an art influencer, creative director turned artist. And in some ways, actually, this project is particularly personal to me because, I was like in the closet as an artist, that was kind of like the way I was talking about it. I've been making art all my life, but I haven't really been, I would shy away from calling myself an artist. And so with this project is actually in some ways my debut. And so it's, I'm Benny Orr and I'm an artist.
What a way to come out there, man. That's an amazing piece.
Thank
amazing
you.
Piece.
Yeah.
All right, Christian, what about you, Christian?
Yeah. So my name is Christian, and I've been helping Benny from kind of a business standpoint, launching an NFT. We wanted to make sure it was supported in the right way. And my background is I started in finance a long time ago, and I did a lot of startup work. So I'm kind of familiar with setting something up from scratch and what you kind of need to formalize things. And then more recently, and I do have a day job actually that is not the meeting place. I work at Google, and I have a team of trust and safety strategists that I work with. So we prevent abuse on Google products. And my background in tech spans trust and safety as well as marketing. I used to work on actually the dark side of my past. I used to work on targeting products for Google and Pinterest. Basically, how do we find you online based on your interests and your graphics? And now, I took a step to do something a little bit more positive with trust and safety and protecting users, which I really connect with. But my support for Benny has really been around making sure he has the space to just create. Unfortunately, with art, there's laws, there's budgets, there's like, how do you align incentives with a lot of partners? We had over 10 people working on this project at different times. And, I wanted to make sure Benny had the bandwidth and capacity to just create. And so I took on all the kind of operational back end stuff, lots of lawyer calls and budgets on spreadsheets. The less
even better. I love that. That's awesome, guys.
Which means all the numbers never end.
Real quick, some of the comments that y'all made are incredibly interesting. Xcopy said, how do you become an artist? Decide you're an artist. And I think that right now, and just listening to so many spaces, people that have been shy about their art are using NFTs, and in some instances, the pseudonymous nature of a lot of this to try and experiment and do these cool new things. And sorry, I'm freezing. There's nothing I can do about it right now. So I'll just be quiet after this. But what's really interesting is that when you think about a lot of the elements that go into kind of the experiences, and today the type of art that we can create in the metaverse, the type of art that we can create with NFTs, it's not just a digital picture, but it is these mini experiences. And when you think about Rafik Anadol's exhibit in New York City, when you think about what y'all are doing with the meeting place, it does take a team, and it's really cool to start seeing the teams that are coming together to create art. And so I just want to commend you for that. It is pretty awesome.
Thank you. And that is something that we're thinking about too, right? Like a lot of these like NFTs are really exclusive. It's very much like, I own this is mine. But like the meeting place is fundamentally about sharing, right? Like, I mean, you could theoretically buy it and go there by yourself and hang out with yourself in the metaverse, but it's like, that's not the point, like you don't buy, a party venue to party by yourself. It really is about NFTs that begin to open up to other people, right? Where it's fundamentally about community and sharing, and I think that's what makes the meeting place particularly unique as well. In some ways, it's about people, and that's what the metaverse really should be about, right?
I totally agree on that. Yeah. So a little bit about the project. Would you mind giving a high-level summary for the people in the chat, just kind of the meeting place and what I know kind of what it is, but can you go ahead and give your own version, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So the meeting place is, a place in the metaverse, right? It's theoretically a building that you can purchase, that you can own exclusively, and host events, do whatever you want, and it's really up to the buyer and the owner to choose how he or she or even a company wants to explore its purposes for. Now, in terms of, I guess, like a high level description of like how we kind of think about it is that buying the meeting place is kind of a step towards this belief that we are indeed going to be spending more and more time in the metaverse, right? Like Zuckerberg's, like epilogue video really is talking about trying to get people to understand that like you are going to have people living in the metaverse, and you're going to have your personal spaces, and you're going to invite your family over, and you're going to meet people there, and you're going to host and show off your NFT art and all these different things. And so if that is the case, then what are those spaces going to be, right? How do we begin to think about those environments? In the physical world, our homes represent who we are, right? We decorate in certain ways. We choose certain architects to build our spaces because we like the things that they represent, or the rituals that we practice every day. And so if that's the case, and we're going to be spending more and more time in the metaverse, then those values extend into that world as well. You're not just going to be like, oh, come over, I just like changed my home into like that template that they just offered, like you're not going to want to live in a template. You're going to want to live in a space that is yours and that that represents you. And maybe it's one of one or an additional 4,000, or, There's going to be a whole world of real estate in the metaverse that is currently completely unbuilt and unrealized. And so the meeting place is one of the first of its kind where it's saying, look, it matters where you go in the metaverse, right? And the quality of space is important. And here we are as two artists, we have created a space in which you can buy and occupy. And it is the beginning of a movement towards thinking about the bigger picture of what it means to live in the metaverse and what it means to have well-designed spaces in the digital space.
So this is your own private metaverse that you can purchase. The one of one private metaverse.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And then some of the utility that this would have, if I bought this, I could invite others into it, correct? I can invite others and have that full immersive experience inside this one of one NFT.
Exactly. And so Marcel's founder, creator, Krista Kim, I'm not sure if you're familiar. She's like the patron saint of architecture in the metaverse, really. And she calls it a Readymade because it's done in the sense that, like, even when Marcel's was sold, it was sold as a video and a 3D file, right? There was no way to actually get into there. It wasn't like, oh, I bought the Marcel's and now I can go hang out and invite people over. There was still a process of getting it to a place of accessible in virtual reality, right? Whereas what we've created from the ground up is a place where you can go now, right? It's ready-made because it's like a turnkey apartment. Like we give you the keys and immediately you can throw a party and you can immediately start throwing in your NFT art and then saving it. And so you have like the place the way you want it to be, right? And so we've done all the hard work to integrate it into Spatial's platform. And Spatial's platform allows you to do a million different things, which are, and like screen share. If you're on the web, you can throw up a webcam. You can easily drag and drop 2D, 3D files into the metaverse. There's spatial recognition. So you can literally be there's too many people over here. I'm going to go and find a quiet spot. And then the sound will taper off just like you were walking away from people, right? You can watch videos. You can open up a browser. There's so many different productivity tools that come along with Spatial's platform. But the important thing is to recognize also that ultimately the NFT, as you'll see on the screen here, it is a 3D model. So there is this embedded idea of interoperability inside of that, right? If you wanted to bring it into a different metaverse, technically you can, right? There's going to be engineering to integrate it fully, but that's why this is special, because we've already done the integration for Spatial and it's ready-made and good to go. So it is there's a lot of kind of nuance and newness to the project, yeah, it's super exciting.
Malachi, doesn't this blow your mind?
Yeah, I mean, Krista Kim is kind of the lead in terms of kind of setting the stage, and I think when you start to talk about a lot of the metaverses that are out there are somewhat barren, and it's cool. You get in and you go look at your art and then you're done. But the architects of the future are going to be incredible, and owning these pieces of architecture in the metaverse is going to be empowering and exciting. And there's going to be special events and exclusive events and all these things that start coming along with it, where there's going to be destinations. There's going to be the 7 wonders of the metaverse. And there's so much stuff that's coming. Absolutely. And so this is really, really cool to start seeing this.
Right.
And something that we had not seen before that we really wanted to bring together was kind of these different technologies, right? You have 3D modeling has existed for a long time. There's a lot of people that can do 3D modeling. And then virtual reality has been kind of on a spur of growth. And now I was blown away by actually the capabilities of VR today. It's kind of amazing. If you haven't checked it out, there's a lot going on there. And in the meeting place, we bring those two together, right? Now you can experience a 3D model by walking around it, jumping around it, going to the top, and with someone else. And finally, by packaging it as an NFT, we give it value, and we say, hey, market, what do you think this is worth? And that's really what the auction is about. And we think it should be worth something, because we're putting together this opportunity for any 3D modeler, and we want other people who are 3D modelers to do the same thing, like build a space, integrate it into spatial, and then sell that. And you can also profit from this new economy of this virtual real estate, if you will, where everyone gets to create the future of the metaverse. And it can be in this very decentralized, open way because we're using NFTs and because we're allowing this to kind of be integrated into whatever platform you want. As Benny said, we've done the hard work for you so you can step into it in spatial, but that it's not limited by that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's interesting. One of the things you said is really interesting. Like if you've ever been in your kitchen or had to like change a light bulb or get on a ladder or a chair, like you go up and you look down and like your entire everything around you, it's your home, but it looks completely different. And like the shift in perspective. And so like this is the type of stuff that like changing people's perspective, being able to do different things. And I think the uniqueness that you guys have integrated into this piece of art from a metaverse lens, you could have just built a cathedral, you could have built a room, you could have done a lot of different things, but you tried to do something that is truly unique. And you know the circles and going against kind of the real world architecture tropes that would be easy to follow.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it's incredibly beautiful and exciting to see.
Thank you.
Thank you. And, you know, we call it the meeting place because like at a certain point we realize that it almost doesn't even, I mean, it does matter what it is, obviously, but what matters more is actually who's there, right? Like you're not going to go because there's nobody there. You're going to go because somebody else is waiting for you, right? And it's the human connections. That's really the reason why anyone would really want to go there, for that human encounter. And so what the meeting place is, you know, fundamentally is a backdrop, right? We want to create spaces that people actually want to go to. And if they want to be there, then that most likely means they want to invite other people. And that's when you get people on board, you know, like, and we've met people in the metaverse. Like I've like met a kid in like, you know, Jersey, and then I met a man in Brazil last night. And then like, you know, it's like, it's kind of incredible that the moment you begin to start having these human interactions in the metaverse, it becomes like immediately real. It's like the first time you like DM someone on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really feels like a 0 to 1 moment. And it's you know, I implore everyone to kind of go check it out. It's open on Spatial right now. You can go visit it. And like, I hope you bump into somebody there, if not me. You know, there really is something magic about not forcing it to be a church or a room. It's really just about creating a backdrop for people to bump into each other. And it also opens up like the possibility for it to be anything, right? I think one of the conversations I had with a journalist the other day about the meeting place was how adaptable it is, right? You know, in a couple of weeks, we're having an exhibition, but you can imagine that, you know, Live Nation could buy this and turn it into a tiny little performance hall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be someone's home and they could just like put up all their family photos on each of these balconies. There is a level of adaptability in metaverse architecture that physical architecture doesn't have, right? You build a restaurant and it can only really be a restaurant, or you have to spend, you know, months of construction and thousands of dollars to renovate it to change its purpose. Whereas the meeting place, you know, you can change it overnight and it won't cost you anything. And so there's a lot of like efficiencies there as well, which makes metaverse architecture kind of unique in some sense.
Man, it's so beautiful. For those of you guys who are just joining us, this is the one of one FT, your own personal metaverse. Everyone who's asking in the chat is going to be available. Please go check it out on Super Rare right now. You can check it out at the website, themeetingplace.io, and this thing starts auctioning on Thursday.
Thursday at noon, exactly.
Thursday at noon.
I wanted to ask a quick question, and I have a million questions now, but I'll try to be as concise as I can. But when you think about, so Super Rare is kind of the, you know, one of the top tier platforms for art to be released on, right? There's people, you know, people love NFTs because it removes curation, it removes the gallery that takes 50%, it does all these things really well. But then very quickly, people are spending a bunch of ETH on NFTs like the curation, and Super Rare is one of the better or best, one of the best curators out there. But my question is, y'all could have done one of 50, one of 1,000, one of 10,000. This is incredibly refreshing for us because it's not a PFP project. I'm curious what the time. Probably emotional tears, everything that goes into this, and now it's a one of one. So my two-part question is, what made you choose one of one, and what comes after this?
Yeah, I mean, the one of one thing is just, I don't know. It's kind of funny. I never even thought about it as being additions. I think we set out, Cyril and I, thinking about it as a building, as a, you know, we never really thought about it that way in terms of that.
I think it's also because it's a proof of concept, right? So editions, I think you see those in like obviously like JPEGs and things that are kind of more established, but no one is really buying and trading metaverse architecture yet, barring Mars House, which obviously is kind of the first example. But especially something that's already integrated into a VR platform. And so we wanted to see what the market would say about this kind of move before we move into editions. So that's why I think it was a big reason for having it be one of one, just because we're like, what do you guys think? Like, what does the community think? Like, tell us in comments. Like,
that,
let's figure out, and then once obviously the sale is over, we're already thinking about the next phase and how to actually make it more accessible. So editions is such an easy way to do that. If you had 1,000 of these, obviously the price would be a lot more affordable, and the use cases could like proliferate and really be different across the board. And we're excited for that as well. But we need people to buy into this one first, right? As a way to kind of validate that type of work is valuable and that people really do see the value of this kind of project, because it's pretty risky. Like there's a lot of time and energy and people that have to be aligned for it to really kind of become this thing. And so I think that was kind of part of the reason. And yes, we're definitely thinking of editions in the future to make it more accessible. And as the market grows and demand grows for these types of spaces, obviously.
That's brilliant.
Like metaverse architecture is like the most accessible form of art. You know what I mean? It's like people have to be millionaires to like buy a Zaha Hadid apartment. You know, like it's so expensive to buy quality architecture in the physical world, right? Mm-hmm. And so few people get to actually interact with architecture at that level, at that scale, right? Because it's so exclusive in a lot of ways, right? And so the thought process here is that like now that we've proven that quality architecture matters, how do we then exactly scale up with additions? How do we make it suddenly accessible, right? Like I would love for like a Google, for instance, to be like, I would love for you to create like a suite of 10 spaces, you know, and make it so ridiculously amazing that people will actually want to use it, right? But then we can begin to offer people these spaces that they can occupy that are frankly even potentially better than their cracker box Manhattan apartment. You know, like suddenly people have access to art in their daily lives. And I think that extends and connects back to my work as an influencer, which is like, how do we find ways to bring art into people's daily lives? How do we allow them to get this free form of therapy in a lot of ways, you know? And that's kind of where my head is. It's like, how do we infuse art into all of it? Because the more people have access to art, the happier people will be, frankly, you know?
I love that. Malachi, you love that?
You know it.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other more questions, Malachi, or anything you guys want to add? We've had a lot of people that are jumping over to your website. A lot of people interested on jumping onto Super Rare for Thursday, checking it all out. There's a few people that are jumping into spatial, correct? Spatial?
Yes, spatial.
People are jumping in there for the first time right now on the chat, and they're
amazing.
Checking it all out.
Tell us what you think. We'll try to meet you there, honestly. So like the ways to get to the meeting place, there's 3 ways of doing it, right? You can either download Spatial's app on your phone, and then you can go in through there. And then, or you can go on spatial.io on your web browser, and you can also create an account and log in there. You can kind of move around. And then finally, which is the best way of doing it, is downloading the spatial app on your VR headset and doing the whole thing in the whole way. And it's open to the public right now. It's going to be open till it sells. And then we will reopen it again for an exhibition with Superware come December. Yeah, please go and experience it. I hope that like people will see what we were trying to get at. We're like, there's a certain quality of space that I feel like we accomplished at the meeting place, and it's been very heartwarming. We've had a lot of like VR veterans come through, and the most consistent comment is that it's the most beautiful VR space they've ever been in, which I think is honestly so flattering, and that's kind of what I think Cyril and I want to do. We want to like show people what's possible. This is the first time that we're selling it as real estate, but it really is about like inspiring other people to make beauty in the metaverse.
No, I love it. And thinking about,
do we want to do a screen share? I can jump into it.
Yes, please. Yes, that's what people are asking for. People are like, show us.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, and while you're pulling that up, it's one of those things like how do you get people to think differently, right? And it's just like if this can get someone to go do something slightly different, right, and then someone else tries something different, we don't get these massive transformations without these fantastic new ideas. And so if someone's watching this, maybe they had never thought about NFT architecture. But maybe they were really good at Minecraft like 5-10 years ago, and now they want to go try their hand at downloading some 3D software and creating the next meeting place in the metaverse. Like that's what I love about NFTs. It's a gift and a curse, is that we call everything an NFT, and when in the real world we call it baseball cards, comic books, records, pictures, every art, and like everything's an NFT. So we have to get people to break through that, it's an NFT, and say anything can be an NFT. So think wild thoughts and do crazy things and try new stuff. That's awesome.
Exactly. 1 second, we're just trying to get this up. And no, exactly. And it opens up a whole creators economy. I think that's what like we're really hoping will happen, right? Like people are gonna be like, whoa, look at these guys who just did this, and they were able to make money and make art. And you don't need to have a company to do it. You can like do it for yourself, right? Suddenly like artists and then 3D kind of designers can begin to explore this potential like avenue for revenue. But it's kind of funny. I keep saying this too, right? It's like the metaverse is going to open up all these opportunities for all these creative people to start building their own spaces. But in some ways, it's a bit of a Pandora's box situation, right? Because suddenly anyone can build anything, right? And even in the real world, well, at least in the real world, you have to have an education, you have to have like a degree and a lot of collateral in order to build these spaces. And we still have poorly designed spaces in our physical world. So imagine if you open the floodgates to like everyone to build spaces, we're also going to get some pretty shitty places, honestly, right? And so it's a bit of a two-pronged thing where it's like, here's the open doors, right? Everybody come in and create. But we also have to be very critical, because otherwise we're going to live in this like trashy 3D world that's not healthy for us.
Very good point. Yep, very good point.
Right, it is. We also need to double down on being critical about like what are we actually doing? Because if we don't look at it critically, then we're going to be swimming in like bad environments, in no time. So we're hoping that like at least the meeting place begin to set a standard. But here we are.
I love it. High standard. Look how pretty that is. How do you jump over there? How do you jump over there?
Right. So there's two parts in the meeting place. There's an exterior platform, which is kind of like waiting at the pearly gates. It's kind of like you get to experience it from the outside, and it can be a bit of a waiting area. We have our manifesto over there that you can read. But then in the middle you have this portal, and so if you click on the portal, you can jump in, and then we can skip this for now. And you'll see, give it a moment to load, We are here in the meeting place.
Yes.
So Christian can drive around. And so this is a live environment, right? Anyone that's in there right now can see us, can hear us. I believe we're on mute. So, they would just kind of see us navigating around. But yeah, it's kind of incredible that like sometimes I'm in bed and I'll just like hop on in the app and like have a meeting really quickly, like I just bump into someone there and have a conversation. But the way we kind of designed the space, Cyril and we really created sort of different kind of scales too, right? So here downstairs you have this sort of amphitheater, right? You can imagine having a presentation. You can screen share, you can pull in a PDF and walk people through, you can fill it up to 32 people. But then you can also move somewhere else and have more kind of intimate conversations, right? You're like, oh, I want to kind of just have a conversation with you here, and you can kind of jump over here and do that. Or, one of the challenges we have when we bring people into the meeting place is like try and get up to the top. Like how do you find ways to like climb this kind of Chuck E. Cheese piece of architecture and get up to the top, because at the top you have this like sphere that moves and you can actually get up there as well, and so there's all these layers of the space and like these kind of views. You can zoom in so you can become first person view and you can kind of begin to really look around and see people and begin to import files. Like at one point, I put a piece of art like right here in the middle, hanging in the, as kind of a gallery space, and you can really begin to imagine how it has a lot of different use cases, and the architecture in some ways isn't exactly prescribing a certain program or whatnot. And you'll see also here, it's actually, this piece is moving, rotating element. A lot of the sort of thought processes was like, how do we like imply time? In a couple of years, it's gonna run like a video game. Like it's gonna. We're gonna. Oh, someone's here. Is that you?
Yeah, I just joined. So you can join on your phone as well, and
cool.
On my phone. And then there's someone else there because we do have it open to the public. So if you're listening on the live stream, just download the app, Spatial, or go to the browser, or go in your VR set, and you can literally meet us right now.
See?
We'd be able to have conversations.
Let's find out. Can we go down and say hi?
Sure. I mean, I think we're muted.
Are we muted? Let's unmute.
It's me.
Is it you?
That's me.
Oh,
hey.
That's me. I just jumped in here. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can wave at you and zoom out here, and I can do, I think, different. There you go. Hey, see?
Yeah.
There you are.
That's so cool.
Yeah, okay.
But this is awesome.
The future is here. Like
this is amazing.
Amazing. Exactly.
This is amazing.
Exactly. We could have an interview in the metaverse.
That's amazing.
We'll do the next one in the metaverse.
This is so cool.
We're actually, we sent both our mothers Oculuses because we got married during COVID. Like they haven't met, the in-laws haven't connected.
Yeah.
So we have a really cute moment that they can at least meet each other at the meeting place. We're going to try and capture that and have this little hallmark moment in the metaverse of our foreign mothers meeting in the metaverse for the first time. And I went home actually in Canada and I took them there, and I was actually amazed how fast they picked it up. You know what I mean? Within 15 minutes, my mother's like drawing and making a mess. I'm like, Mom, I gotta clean this up. Like, it's kind of incredible that it's when you create a space in the metaverse that's inviting enough, it's no longer a generational thing. Like it's this Metaverse. Yeah. She's looking all right.
So have you guys thought about doing a POAP for this, for your open house during December, like a proof of attendance?
A what? Sorry?
A POAP. So a lot of these virtual events will release what are called POAP. So it's like a proof of attendance protocol And the POAPs, like if you attended an Xcopy virtual event, like the POAP's worth 1 ETH now, and like the secondary market just ate it up. So I encourage y'all to look up, and we'll send you some information on POAPs. So like during this period of time, while you're having the open house after the sale or during, anyone who attends the meeting place could have a custom POAP that they can claim if they're in the meeting place.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Actually,
really cool.
Yeah, when you become a whitelisted artist on Super Rare, you get a POA as well. So so it makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Do you want to show screen sharing? Maybe that would be interesting. We'd have to pull up another window, but I think it's cool to like pull up a screen. Yeah. Well,
let's go back in here. Oh, can we do that? Let's see. I could.
Oh yeah, because they're sharing it. Yeah. So here. If you guys want to chat while I set this up for a second, but I think it's a cool experience to see.
This whole thing is blowing my mind, Malachi. It's blowing my mind, dude.
It really feels like a 0 to 1 moment.
Yes, it was, and it's super easy to jump in immediately. Yeah. It's very frictionless to jump in and make it. It's super cool.
Like exactly, and
I love it.
That barrier is gone,
Yes.
And it's also, I feel like we needed something like COVID and quarantine to get us to a place where we're so readily accepting new technologies. You know what I mean?
Oh, cool.
Look at that. Wow. Literally like what's his name? Iron Man.
Somebody else is here. Look, somebody else has just joined in.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but we can make this bigger.
Oh, that is so cool.
Right, and then you could like imagine.
I love this.
This guy's hopping around. I love it.
Oh, can I say hi?
Peanut gallery, yeah.
Yeah. Let me unmute for a second.
There's another one in the background over there too.
I see him. I see him.
Can you hear me? I can see you jumping.
Oh, I muted the site because I didn't want echo.
Oh, you muted it. Oh, see, he's getting.
Oh, look, he touched it.
Yeah, he touched it.
Anyone can move it.
Wow, someone else is jumping in.
Let's see.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? What's his name? I can't tell. Addison.
What's up, Addison?
Wow.
He's on mute.
He's on mute. You're on mute, man. There you go.
There you go.
Addison, what's up?
Can you hear us, Addison?
He's shy.
Don't be shy. It's okay.
Oh. But yeah.
This is so cool.
But yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So you can pull up videos. You can do a million different things. And again, or you can just hang out. You don't have to like use all the bells and whistles. But it's there if you want it, and that's why we love spatial. They make it so easy to get on there. Like it's fast on your phone even. And it's literally just a portal into another world.
Wow.
Yeah. Right?
Wow.
The future is here.
The future is right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
This is way better than a PFP project, Malachi. This is amazing.
It's refreshing.
This is refreshing.
It's like, there's nothing against any of the PFP projects we've talked to. They're all great, but I like new shiny objects, and it's just when you think about we're early, and you think about think 5 years from now how different this is going to be. This is awesome, and I really enjoy it. And even just think about like meetings. Like why would you have a Zoom call sometimes? Why can't you just make it a little bit fun and say, hey, let's meet in the metaverse and talk and have
Exactly. Look at this guy. He's figuring it out. He's just like, I'm gonna move this around. And cool. And that's one thing too. When we were thinking about it originally, we actually wanted it to be like a workplace thing, right? And if you read the manifesto, we talk about it. We're kind of like, at first we're like, especially because he works at Google, he's like, I have all the tools I need. I have all the tools I need to be productive. It's clear that we don't need to have physical offices anymore. We can do anything that we need, in virtually online through just Zoom calls. But that's not that wasn't the solve that we were providing.
Hey, man.
Right? Oh, who's here?
Cool.
How are you? What's happening? Okay, so I'm here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Welcome. This place is so incredible. I can't wait till
Wait, where's that?
Oh, hey guys.
Hey, Gia,
Hi.
we can hear
Hey.
you. Can you hear her as well on the screen?
Yeah, we hear.
Yeah, this is Gia, our good friend. She's actually downstairs. She lives in the apartment below us.
How
Oh,
cool.
that's awesome.
She's been helping us market a lot of this, and she comes from experiential, and she's been, highly successful in the NFT world as well. You guys should really connect. But hi, Gia. Welcome to the interview. Are you crashing our interview?
Hey guys. No, I met a friend. I met a friend named Adonis who's here, and he's checking out the space for the first time.
Oh,
Look how many people. Wow.
What's
What's
up?
up?
Move this out of the way so we can see you better here. Yeah, what's up? We're actually on the live stream.
This is so cool.
Live.
I love how
Yeah.
meta. This is like it's like Inception in the metaverse. I love it. It's
Yeah,
This
I was
is-
like, you should put the YouTube stream on in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Double inception.
we actually could. Yeah.
Let's try. I don't
This
even
is
know how to
crazy.
post that. Can we do that?
Actually, we
Can you
can.
set
Yeah,
up
yeah. Let me do it. 1 second.
Let's see.
Whoa.
Yeah, let's find. The link is in the
Yeah. In the messages.
in that here as well. Or
Oh, this is really neat, and it's just
This
cool
is-
to see. Like,
Yes, it's all happening.
it's
yeah,
happening,
that's like a window into a window here.
It's happening.
Definitely do this. Yeah.
and it's just
This
cool.
Oh shit!
Like,
Whoa!
Wait,
Adam
this
is joining us.
Like a window into a window here.
It's happening.
there it is. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit!
Whoa. There it is. That's amazing. Someone screenshot this for historical purposes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Cool. That's amazing. Someone screenshot this for historical purposes.
I got it. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, now we're getting feedback. So maybe we
Yeah.
just stop it
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, hello, baby.
Looks like
All right, let's
Yeah.
close that out.
Well, but yeah,
Wow,
That's
this
awesome.
is beautiful. Wow.
But yeah, so this is what this is about, and so we really think that the future is here, and the meeting place is just the beginning, and it's a proof of concept. But I hope it's not just a proof of concept; it's like a living work of art that's gonna be with us, with whoever owns it, with art. I can't wait. Like I get my artist proof, so I'm gonna meet my kids will be in here someday. I'll be like, I'll see you at the meeting place at 8 p.m. and you better be in your good avatar.
Wow.
Like it's gonna be a real thing. Like don't make me boot you. It's all here. So we're really excited about it. Thursday's the drop, noon Eastern time.
Boom. Thursday, guys, super rare. This beautiful art and utility. This private metaverse is amazing. Thank
It's
you
so
guys for
cool.
this awesome demo. And we saw it actually happening live. You saw the viral nature of it, the easy to meet people, the community
Yeah.
that can be built. It's all about the people.
This is so unplanned. This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Well, and we hope that you guys go to Miami for Art Basel too. It'd be awesome to meet in person. But
Yes.
we should do more virtual metaverse meetings as well. This is honestly one of my favorite. In the 9 months we've been working on, or 11 months we've been working on NFT culture. This is one of my favorite moments. So,
Yes.
so thank you.
Amazing.
This is really cool to watch and see.
Yeah, everybody check him out. I'll throw the website back up here again, the meetingplace.io, and it's on Super Rare going on Thursday. The auction starts, guys. So go check him out on Super Rare. Follow everything. This is amazing. Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Christian, for the time today. This was amazing. We would love to have you guys back afterwards as well, and maybe cover the open house or something you're going to have in December.
Yes, absolutely.
We would love to have you guys back on.
Absolutely, we would love that. Let's celebrate the meeting place after. Let's
shall.
find out what our realities look
We
like.
will.
That's awesome.
But thank you very much for joining us today, guys. Thank you so much.
Man, I saw your question, man, about